go. Dope to meet you and heard great things about you. So remind me again, so you're in Texas now.
Yes, I am. Born
Mhm.
and raised.
And then you're coming into NYU for music business, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
To start with, how long have you been making music? And like, when did you really think that this was going to be your main squeeze and something that you're really, really passionate about?
Well, all throughout sixth through eighth grade, I was a percussionist. And then when it hit like seventh grade or eighth grade, I started making covers on GarageBand iOS on my iPhone 5 or however old it was.
Yeah.
And so I have like a really bad cover of like a Rihanna work thing. And I would just listen to popular pop tunes and like I would just try and recreate it on my phone. It was my junior year when I started really taking it serious and I released my first song on SoundCloud. It's called Night Drive Boy. I don't know if you've heard it. It's something, but that was like the first time I released it. And then somehow it hit the SoundCloud algorithm and it got me to like 1K plays. And I was like, oh my
Awesome.
God, 1,000 people like heard my song. I don't know. She's cute. She's something else. Actually, before I made that song, I made a Brockhampton parody. Yeah, I might have to send that to you.
That's so funny. What song was it?
It's based off of Heat. You know Heat, like in
Uh,
2017 off of
yeah.
Saturation One. So I took it off my SoundCloud a long time ago, but I'll send it.
I do it, then I know that I'ma go far. 'Cause then I'll figure out my life and I can get started. I got a lot of money, know it, I really know. That's how some of these rappers be frontin' and you don't know that they really be broke, just like the rest of us. I grew up with not a lot of money, so I could die.
And then second semester of junior year, I started releasing like Cycle Town, Get Real, and then Sundown finally came out. And that's when everybody was like, okay, I really like this song. Everybody shared it. And then I came to NYU over the summer for music business program. And I got to be a performer there. I auditioned with Sundown and like another original song I had been working on at the time. And then everybody just loved it there. So I guess everyone likes Sundown. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have anything else coming out in the near future?
Now that I've dropped 2 singles, I think I might want to re-release Sundown if I just could rework it, get it a little bit more studio sounding as much as I can on the iPhone thing, and then maybe drop that near the end of the summer. But yeah, I have like a lot of random demos lying around, but nothing set in stone.
And so what instruments do you play?
I play a little bit of the guitar, and then I sing, and then I play the marimba. I played that like all 4 years of high school. A lot of other random
Dope.
percussive instruments, whether it's like timpani, you know, snare drum, stuff like that. And I can play a little bit of keys if you like give me some chords, but definitely
Mhm.
not a keys player.
Remind me the name of, is that Unending?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like 25K streams, right?
Yeah, yep. I think I was on the Fresh Finds playlist and then the Fresh Finds like alternative R&B kind of playlist.
So cool. Who would you cite as your biggest like inspirations, or who do you think is like really defining that space in a way that you like right now?
So Unending was my first streaming platform song, and that song wasn't really inspired by anyone actually, which is kind of weird. I just like sat down and just made it, and I could like envision all the sounds coming together. But Pollen was my most recent one, and that one I was listening to a lot of like beabadoobee, Dayglow. I kind of like mimicked Clairo's songwriting style and the way that she writes her verses.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So, how have you been adjusting to this whole quarantine situation? Do you have less time in the studio now or less chances to collaborate with other people or
Usually, I tend to honestly just work by myself on a lot of things because everything is written, recorded, produced by me. And I always say me and my iPhone. I have like an iRig that I plug in. My guitar's like right here. So it's honestly been really easy. And I've had more time to actually like think about what I'm doing and just be a little bit more patient with the stuff that I'm putting out. Other friends reach out to me for like songwriting tips or like production tips and stuff like that. So I think just having a close knit group of friends who are also making music and sharing your music with them and vice versa is what I've been doing lately.
totally? Yeah. What do you tell people as far as songwriting goes, especially?
When I'm like really looking to songwrite, I'll just find something that's like really inspired me. For instance, Pauling was inspired by a conversation that I had with Tiny actually about like distant friendships and stuff like that. And immediately that night, I was just sitting there and I was like, all right, I'm feeling creative. It's time to write about this song. So I don't know if I have any specific songwriting tips, but oh my God, my dog is barking. 1 second. It's really Timy's dog. We call him
Mhm.
Speedy.
Can I see him?
But yeah. Yes, you can. Speedy, come here. Yeah, he just got a haircut not too long ago, so he's looking a little bald, but yeah, that's Speedy.
You're still producing a lot of stuff on your iPhone, right?
It's all on my iPhone, yeah.
So would you recommend, like, if someone's starting out and wants to like easily break into that space, what sort of tools and software would you recommend for that person?
Definitely GarageBand. I would say if you play guitar, I would invest in an iRig. It's like $30, and then a decent pair of headphones. And recently, I bought this. It's like an iRig, but for your microphone. So maybe get a microphone too. But honestly, a lot of the songs that I made, including Sundown, were made from a broken pair of beats,
Wow,
and I just sang into this microphone here, and maybe use like a sock as a pop filter.
that's creative.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did you get the word out about your music in the very early days? I think that's probably a question that a lot of other young artists would be really curious about, is how do you go from having 100 people to having 25,000 people streaming your stuff,
Yeah,
right? I mean, of course there's a big amount of luck, but clearly there's a lot of hustle on your part.
definitely share your music with family and friends. Like that's the first thing I would do. Make sure that they're like commenting, also sharing it, encouraging people who post on your stories by reposting what they post. And a big thing for me was tagging my music, related genres, and then the main genre, or even a mood that you might feel when listening to the music.
What sorts of like layers of various things are you pulling in? What do those
Yeah.
influences really look like?
A lot of it is kind of different. Like Unending, one might call it alternative R&B, but then I released Pollen like 2 months later, and that's super like indie pop. So I just feel like for now, I just fall under the indie umbrella or like the DIY scene. But I think in terms of music in the future, I think we're really like breaking down barriers in terms of one genre. Because a lot of my favorite artists like Charlie XCX, Bonnie Bear, people like that, Perfume Genius, like you said
Yeah.
on Toonstack,
Yeah.
like they're all dropping crazy like experimental music. I think that's really cool. My mom used to play the Black Eyed Peas record, The
Yep.
End,
Yep.
and they were
Uh-huh.
like they were like early experimental pop. And I think somehow that manifested in my brain because when me and Timmy were younger, we loved that so much. And now we're listening to like new generations of experimental pop. And I think in a way, the stuff that I do is I pull influences from like trap music in the way that I use my kick drums, or like Dijon in the way that I layer my vocals, but also maybe Clairo and the melodies that I use, or like Dayglow and the snare drums and like the upbeat tempo that I use. So yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned, the music that your mom used to play for you as a kid. You're a little bit younger than me, so I'm not sure if you ever had an iPod, but
I did. I
you did?
did. Honestly, I was playing a lot of mainstream music. Like, I remember Timmy and I took a flight to North Carolina to see family, and I literally streamed Pink, the Just Give Me a Reason song. I played that all throughout the flight, and I don't know why it resonated with me, but that was my song of 2012 for sure. But also, like, my mom was putting us on like Trey songs, and she made her own mixtapes of a lot of like R&B, hip hop stuff, DJ Khaled. So yeah.
It's so cool. Well, tell your mom that she's more than welcome to TuneStack, and if she wants to make mixtapes and throw them up on the stack, then that would be totally appreciated.
I will. I will.
Thanks again, and hope to talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. All right, take care.